Viraja, and next one also is V. I guess they are all rhyming poetic. So the next Nama is Vishwatomukhi. So she Vishwataha means in all directions, everywhere. Mukha is face. So she who has faces in all directions. In other words, she who has faces everywhere, who is represented by every face in the universe. Okay, so every face is of hers. Vishwato Mukha means faces, all faces are his, which means every living being, all those faces are Mata's faces. This affirms the omnipresent nature of Parabrahman. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, others worship me in my universal form in many ways, taking me as manifested in diverse celestial forms. And in referring to that, he uses the word Vishwato Mukham. Basically, in different forms, like different deities, is what he's referring to. In this case, we are going even beyond the celestial forms, but even every human being, that face is Mata's face. She's omnipresent. Purusha Sukta opens by saying Sahasras Sisha Purusha, which means he has thousands of heads. So heads of entire living beings are his own. This Nama means that she recites the entire living beings of the universe. Vishwato Mukhi. Anything around to that? Mm-hmm.
It's breaking. Yeah, I don't know whether my internet or your internet, but your voice is breaking.
No, sorry, I think I had lots of internet for a second. Can you hear me well now? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, sorry about that. Veera Radhya Virat Rupa Viraja Vishwatomukhi. That is one line. Next line is Pratyag Rupa. Okay, what is Pratyag Rupa? Here, Pratyancha Pratyagra means inward, inner, interior. Okay, that's what those are different meanings. Pratyancha, Pratyagra, which means inward, inner, interior. Rupa is form. So, whose form is visible within. That is, they are talking about the aspect of self-realization. So now, first they talked about, in this Nama, they talked about external, right? Every face outside is Mata's face, but also every the face that you find when you look inside you is also Mata's face. She is visible to those who see inwardly. So maybe if you take a person who doesn't have the You can even think of it like this, people who cannot see, they can also realize Mata within themselves in terms of just visual senses. But more apt is she can be realized only within, and this is known as the self-realization. By disconnecting mind from sensory afflictions and looking within, she is realized. In Katha Upanishad, they explain this. The self-created Lord has created the sense organs with the inherent defect that are by nature outgoing, which is why beings see things outside and cannot see the self within. In that line, they use this nama pratyagatma mana maikshat. Pratyagatmana mana maikshat. So Narayana Shuktam also says, talks about this. Narayana pervades both internally and externally. Antar bahishcha tatsarva vyapya Narayana stitaha. In that, they talk about how Narayana is both internal and external. Why should one look within when the Brahman is omnipresent? After all, Narayana pervades internally and externally, is what that means. The Parabrahman is not an object of our vision. No one can see him or her by his eyes. He reveals himself only when the mind is pure and constantly thinks of him. So that constantly thinks is what is all about Parayanam, on a regular basis. We remind ourselves, we do satsanga, and that constant reminder keeps our mind pure, and that results in self-realization over time. So anything to add on to that? Okay. Next is Parakasha. Para means another, Parama supreme. Akasha means ether space. Who is the supreme space, which is the subtlest cosmic form. So Akasha is like how you say you go to Chidambara, the God takes the Akasa Rupam. It's the ether or the space. Parakasha is often used to mean the Parabrahman. This is due to three factors. First, the vast stretch of ether, and second, its purity. Thirdly, its imperceptibleness. And because Akasa is a very good example of the Parabrahman, because it's virtually imperceptible, because it goes infinite. It just goes, and also subtle. Everything comes from Akasa, the chemistry of the water, the molecules results in rain. And the sun from long distance, it comes. Everything we see, it is the canvas. These are the reasons for comparing Akasa to Parabrahman. And she's compared to the subtle matter like Akasa. Since the Parabrahman is subtlest of all, comparison is made to Akasa. So Brahma Sutra says Akasa Tat Lingat, which means Brahman owing to the indicatory mark of that. That is Akasam. End of this earth is space, as everything arises from space and also goes back to space. Space is superior to everything. Space is the highest goal. That which is described as space manifests names and forms. These names and forms are within Brahman. Bhrigu Maharishi came to know that bliss is Brahman, for it is from bliss that these beings are born. Having been born, they are supported by bliss. When they perish, they go back to bliss. This truth is in the empty space of the heart. So the Parabrahman is that vast empty space. The self is everywhere, it supports everything, and is the air in the space between the earth and the heaven. So hence it is said that Nama should sometimes the space between the swaras can also be referred to the space. It is that space within the swaras that makes music. So Vedas should never be recited in notes form or accompanied by musical instruments. This could be one of the reasons. Okay, but here the thing that we need to remember, I think, is Mata, the Parabrahman is the supreme the subtlest cosmic form. We need to look at space as her form. So that's the meaning. And yeah, all the references to supreme bliss is not directly related, but I think they are trying to bring in different references of space in those slokas. The next nama is Pranadha. Pranada, life force. Da, to give. She who gives life can be one meaning. She is the giver of the breathing power is one other meaning. A subtle form continues to be discussed. Like Akasam, prana is also subtle. Prana is also life-giving. Sun and rain come from Akasam that are under her control. Prana is also controlled by her. The omnipresent nature of the Brahman is being explained by Vagdevis. On that very ground, prana is Brahman. It is that space that we, the prana, in prana, all things that we see around us disappear. At the time of appearance, they appear from prana. All the things, whenever we die, when the prana stops, everything disappears. Whenever we are born, when the prana begins, things start appearing. Those who have known the prana means subtle of the subtlest. That is one of the reasons you meditate upon prana. Yeah. But she's the giver of vital breath, or pranadayini, or pranada. The next nama is also related to prana, which is pranarupini. Anything that we want to add on to this? Okay. So, Viraradhya, Virat Rupa, Viraja, Vishwatomukhi, Pratyag Rupa, Parakasha, Pranada. Next nama is Prana Rupini, where it directly talks about she's the form, she's the embodiment of prana. So, what is she's the giver of prana is what we saw in the previous nama. Here we are talking about she's the embodiment of prana. Unless something is overflowing, it cannot be shared. She cannot be the giver of prana unless she is full of prana. Prana comes from her. This type of namas are available aplenty in Sahasranama. Muktida, Muktirupini, for example. Like that here, Pranada, Pranarupini. Prana is we learned that in the previous nama. Here, here we have to remember prana and akas. Both are her rupams, Mata's rupams. Both of them are different facets, in different ways we can call her. So yeah, that's the meaning here. We still have like 9 minutes. If we want, we can go to the next nama. Vira Radhya, Virat Rupa, Viraja, Vishwatomukhi, Pratyag Rupa, Parakasha, Pranadha, Prana Rupini. Okay.
Yeah. There is a story also somewhere specified in my book.
Okay. What is that?
Yeah, once upon a time, all the senses, mind, prana gathered in a place to discuss and conclude who is the greatest of all of them. They could not conclude even after prolonged debates. They approached Prajapati Brahma, who created of all of them, for advice. Brahma said, there is an idea. Each of you leave the body in turns and observe who the body performs without you. That which affects the body most is the greatest of all of you. They all went back and started implementing that idea. First, faculty of speech left the body. It said, I will return after 1 year. Tell me how the body fares without me. After it returned, everyone said, there is some discomfort because there is no speech, but rest all of us were able to do our duties happily. The body is absolutely fine without you. Faculty of speech came back into the body after listening this. Similarly, for faculties of sight, smell, listening, etc. After that, the mind left the body and returned after 1 year. Still, the body didn't collapse. Finally, prana started leaving the body. Then others also felt as if their energy is being snatched away. They felt as if they are going to become inactive even though they are inside the body. They all understood that prana is the force behind all of them. Without it, nothing can perform their function. Then they all unanimously agreed that prana is the greatest faculty among them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Good story.
Thank you.
Good thing to remember. Yeah. Yeah. Here, right. I mean, it's very true. Prana is a vital force that sustains our life. But here when we talk about prana, here we are talking about that's the pranayama, right? Even there where we are talking about controlling the prana, the prana vayu is also the air that we breathe, right? So where they talk about Panchabhutas, Akasa, and all that. Akasam is born from Vayu, and there is a sloka. From Akasha is born Vayu, from Vayu, Agni, from Agni, water, from water, earth. And prana is supported by water. This is from Chandogya Upanishad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You are saying something? Yeah.
No. I'm listening.
Yeah. I think they talk about this connection of prana, and the way they talk about is Akasha is the outer manifestation, which is driven by forces of the inner prana. So yeah, basically the goal of controlling this prana is going to help us because how we first connect with that prana, which is the vital force. It is like how we are connecting with the Parabrahman within us. When we look inward, observe it, you can, this pranayama exercise may be as simple as it may be, right? It could be one of the precursors that will help us self-realization. When you look deeply and observe your prana, then start paying attention to that, you connect with it. And then you learn the subtle art of how do you control it, and, with that, that will be the stepping stone, the way you control your breathing exercise, this prana, you will be able to grasp the whole concept of, the inner consciousness, the Parabrahman within you. So, that, and realizing the akasa. So just trying to tie in this prana and akasha here. And it's this prana is definitely, pranayama is definitely a way for improving your dhyana, and dhyana will realize in self-realization. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Anything to add on to that?
No, thank you, Deepak.
Yeah, I think this is a very good, important sloka that we today, at least we talked about, a few other forms of Virat Rupam and all that. Everything, I guess, it comes back to, it comes back to the opposites. Vishwatomukhi Pratyagrupa, faces outside and face that is inside. And just like on the outside is equivalent to Parakasha, and then prana and the prana rupini. So like that, we need to remember, one is the outside and one is the inside, and one is the outside is nothing but the manifestation of what is inside of us. Anyway, we can stop here, I think. Anything to add on? Shanti, I know you have been a silent listener.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm your friends.
Yeah, I didn't record first few, but hopefully, most of it, I have it in YouTube now.
Yeah. No, I listened to it.
Okay. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you, Vasu. I guess, please.
Thanks to all of you.
Yes,
Thank you.
please come to temple for Navratri festivities.
Sure.
And a lot of pujas are being planned. So.
Thank you, Deepak.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deepak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Bhattarji.